The question is that the motion be disagreed to, and I call the Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I want to speak briefly to this matter. The government will oppose the suspension of standing orders for the following reasons. We obviously have many members here, and I've got two of my colleagues, the member for Robertson and the member for McKellar, here who are going to speak to this, and their serious opposition and concern. There is concern about an individual project from local communities on the North Shore of Sydney and Central Coast, members here, the member for Warringah as well. It's quite appropriate that be discussed and the subject of representations to government, and it has been. But I say to the member for Warringah, if you're serious about legislating and if you are serious about doing something or changing a law, it would be incumbent upon you to go to other affected communities and local members on the North Shore. This isn't a political matter. This is a community matter. This is an environmental matter. And you're not in a political party, as we understand. But what you should do is approach the member for McKellar and the member for Robertson and discuss your concerns with them and seek to get some consensus about what you might be doing and what you want to do. So for today, of course, we won't proceed with the member for Warringah's proposal from the government's perspective to suspend standing orders. It doesn't mean that this important conversation can't continue. It will. In fact, the advocacy from the member for McKellar and the member for Robertson is very strong. And you've heard a very significant statement of intent from a Prime Minister, the strongest statement you could get on a matter such as this, which gives the community that certainty that members here are seeking. We have to also recognise, of course, that in balancing our environmental commitments, protecting our marine environment and, of course, communities on coasts, we also do have offshore petroleum interests across the country. They create jobs and wealth. They help local communities in many parts of our country as well. All governments have to strike balances between these things, and it's appropriate for this conversation to continue. It's appropriate for us to legally look at those questions and what can be done within the frameworks of the law. The government will continue to balance those things. It will continue to work with communities across Australia. By using activism to do something in a hasty way that the member for Warringah is proposing today, these things can have consequences for the sovereign investment framework for Australia, for our stability as an investment profile for very important projects that we might want to continue all around Australia that are appropriate for those communities, that are environmentally welcomed and that are safe. The government's got a very strong statement of intention here. The Prime Minister couldn't have been more clear. The member for McKellar is very clear about his community, and the member for Robertson is very clear about hers. And the member for Shortland here is also very, very strong. There is more to discuss. But I do say to the member for Warringah, and I have spoken to the minister, seek a meeting with the minister and discuss it with him if you have these concerns. Go to your local neighbours and friends in the North Shore communities. This isn't just an issue that affects the community of Warringah, it affects the entire coastline of Sydney, and I do think there's a time for you to go and have a collegiate approach on this as well. So the government doesn't support the suspension of standing orders, and I look forward to the contributions of the member for Robertson and obviously McKellar, and the government welcomes, of course, the ongoing assessment of these process and the statement of intent that the government's put forward.
The